why. First of all, Happy Mother's Day. This being our first Mother's Day in quarantine, I figured the best way to celebrate was by embracing the visual format that seems to have replaced all forms of intimacy and affection in our day-to-day lives. Videos. In making this video, I spent a lot of time debating what I wanted to say and do and how I wanted to present it. I could just make a montage or wax poetic about what a wonderful mother you are, but that just seems blasé. It's been done before. And I still need to figure out a present for your birthday, so we're gonna put that one in our back pocket. I wanted to do something more original. Something that really captures the spirit, the essence, the joie de vivre of Mother's Day. Because it's not a day like your birthday, where we're only celebrating you. On Mother's Day, we also celebrate the incredible fact that you brought 4 people into this world. You are the mother, the creator of 4 beautiful children. You gave me 3 amazing siblings. And with that in mind, I figured what could be more in the spirit of mothers, of children, and of siblings than the time-honored tradition of debating who the favorite child is. Now I know what you're thinking. That is rude and callous and mean and inaccurate. I would never, could never, choose a favorite child. And you're right, it is all of those things. But also, full disclosure, I did forget to buy you a gift. I'm sorry, the world is ending. I didn't feel like driving to Target and spending $6 on a shitty card. And although most parents would never admit to having a favorite child, any sibling, when asked who their parent's favorite child is, knows the answer. Let's lay out some ground rules before we begin. I will be going in order of birth to avoid any biases I might have, and I'll also be listing the pros and cons of each child to try and stay as objective as possible. I am a scientist. I'm taking this very seriously. I'm very smart. I'm very logical. Once they've been judged, I will be placing each sibling in their corresponding place on the mantle. One more thing before we begin. This video is only about ranking my mother's children. Although they will influence where the individual sibling falls in the lineup, the grandchildren themselves will not be ranked. That's an entirely different video, and any one of the grandchildren would outrank all of us anyway. Okay, with that out of the way, let's rank my mother's children. Starting us out, we have Matthew, or Matt, the eldest brother. I'm just gonna level with you here. Matt is my favorite brother. Sorry, Eric, you're in Texas. What are you gonna do, shoot me? Matt and I have a lot in common. We're both introverts, we're both obsessed with exercise to an extent that feels like it borders on unhealthy. We both love Martha, although to be fair, everyone loves Martha. Some of the things I love about him, however, work against his favor in my mother's eyes. His introversion, for example, would be a con for her. You gotta call her more, dude. Also, he might support Trump. That's sort of an unknown variable, but it definitely pushes him to the back. Some of his pros include his reliability. More than any other sibling, Matt just has his shit together, and you can call him for pretty much anything and he will deliver. He's also incredibly loyal, and no matter how much he might deny it, it takes a lot for him to turn his back on you. He cares about the people he loves, truly, fully, and honestly, as opposed to me, who doesn't give a shit and is in fact ranking her siblings right now. He also has 2 of the cutest kids I've ever seen in my life, and his proximity to Martha, who, as I mentioned before, is universally beloved, bumps him up a considerable amount. We're gonna put him in the middle for now. Next up is Heather, the second of the first combo pack of children my parents had. Heather is tricky to place because there's a lot my mother doesn't know about her. For example, there is probably a point in time when her perceived aversion to foul language would have counted as a pro. This is of course untrue, she swears like a fucking sailor, but my mother didn't know that. Another obvious and, in my opinion, cheap trick is the grandchildren. I mean, come on, where did you buy these children? Aryan R Us? There's no way that children are that genetically perfect. Anyway, let's start with the cons. One surprising con is my sister's similarity to my mother. See, we always think that we want to be surrounded by people who are exactly like us, but in reality, when presented with people like this, it's like a bizarre funhouse mirror where both your worst and best traits are held up to you in real time. It's horrifying. Another con is that she lived in New Jersey for 3 years, ripping my mother away from her grandchildren. Harsh blow, Hev. Bad move. Although absence does make the heart grow fonder, so maybe it's a pro? I'm gonna keep it in cons. I'm just gonna get this one out of the way first. Obvious pro, she's got money, hella cash, she's balling. Which brings us to pro 2, that she's probably gonna be the one who takes care of my parents further down the line. Huge win for her. These qualities, along with her army of cherubs, push her very close to the front. Nearly number 1, but not quite, because of the next sibling in our lineup. Eric. What can I say? There is no comparison. He's in a league of his own. I'm gonna start with the pros this time, with what I'm gonna call the mystery factor, because I don't know what it is. He can do no wrong. Erin just eats this kid up. She loves him. I try to pin it down. Maybe it's because he was such an easy child. Maybe it's because he's so funny. Another pro, by the way, he is the funniest sibling by far. I factor all of these things together and I still don't know what it is. The mystery Eric pro accounts for like 99% of his position in this chart. The cons, I mean, does he have any? He did bring us Huey, so, well, no, I did that. I was gonna make his addiction a con, but in a weird way, it sort of works in his favor. I mean, hell of a redemption arc. I guess the mullet is sort of a con, but if anybody could pull it off, it's him. It has kind of grown on me, I'm not gonna lie. Do you know what his Christmas present to my mother was last year? His presents. He showed up. I mean, come on! I can't compete. No one can. So, for reasons that are beyond me, Eric soars to the front of the lineup. He's a fan favorite. And that brings us, finally, to the baby of the family, me, aka Dad's favorite. Woof. This one's gonna be rough. Now I'm a little bit like Matt in that some of my cons are also weirdly pros. For example, I did drop out of college, but the college that I dropped out of was NYU, which cost my parents an absurd amount of money, so that one is actually just a con. Let's start with the biggest and most obvious con. I live with them, which means that things that from a distance might not bother you are brought under a magnifying glass. I don't clean my room at my own home, who cares, you're not gonna see it. I don't clean my room here, chaos. I think I could group this in with my time spent together theory, meaning the more time you spend with someone, the less time you would like to spend with them. I've got some pros too, though. I am, objectively, the sibling who is most likely to become very famous and therefore very rich. I'm coming for your spot, Heather! I am also the sibling who most recently painted a room with my mother. It counts for a lot, trust me, she paints a lot of rooms. My knowledge of technology would also be a pro if I wasn't such an asshole about helping her with it, but as it stands right now, that one's still a con. Rounding out the pros, I make a bitchin' ratatouille. Taking all of this in consideration, we're gonna put me right in last place. I would be in third, but Matt just edges me out with the grandchildren. We'll add an asterisk for the possibility that I may become wildly successful, which I think would put me right behind Eric. Although it may also make me more insufferable, so stay tuned. And that's our ranking. Let's take a look at the mantle. Predictably, we have Eric in first, followed by Heather, and then Matt, and finally me. Something about those second children, I guess. Okay, in all seriousness though, I know that you love us all in equal measures and in unique ways. And we love you for so many reasons. A pretty major one being that you brought us into this world. Thanks for that, it means a lot. And while you may not have a favorite child, I definitely have a favorite mom. Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek. You, obviously you, of course it's you. I love you, Mom, and I hope that you're having a wonderful Mother's Day at your favorite daughter's lake house. Not sure if this one's gonna put me closer to the front or not.